go fishing on this property, right?
Hey, how about we try mind your business on my mind?
Oh, really? Oh, bastard.
Hey.
There was all of the criticism. There was advertisers leaving. We talked to Bob Iger today.
I hope they stop.
You hope?
Don't advertise.
You don't want them to advertise?
No.
What do you mean?
If somebody's going to try to blackmail me with advertising, blackmail me with money, go yourself.
But
go yourself. Is that clear? I hope it is.
Would you like a pride flag, though?
I'm good. It's an abomination to God.
Oh, thank you.
Being a church, read that. I'm so strict.
A few moments later.
About what?
You want to run here telling my daughter she's an abomination, she's going to go to hell?
I didn't say that.
What right is that for you to judge?
I said pride is an abomination.
No, it's not.
Well, it's a Bible verse, ma'am.
You have no right. You guys should go apologize to her because that's rude.
I'm just reading Bible scriptures.
No.
It says pride is an abomination to God.
No.
Why are you going to come up and scream at me? That's not very loving.
Because you made my daughter cry.
I'm just saying what the Bible says.
Something that you got no business in her business at.
Well, true love is loving your neighbor.
Loving one another.
Yeah. There's only one way to God.
No matter what sex it is. Love is love.
I don't want to be bringing back waterboarding. I don't want to be a country that tortures people, especially if we're the kind of country that's going to be using the military against our own citizens.
Well, wait,
this kind of thing concerns me.
What do you mean use against our own citizens?
I'm talking about
You
sending...
said blue states behave. What do you mean? What are you talking about?
I'm talking about sending the military into blue states to make them behave.
What
getting Gavin Newsom under control, getting J.P. Pritzker under control.
What are you
making
talking
sure
about? What do you mean, like sitting into the state capitol
to
to commandeer the state government?
I mean, I hope not, but I'm definitely, he's definitely talked about that. I don't know why you're acting like you've never heard this before.
The military is not supposed to take up arms against American citizens, period.
They're not. You keep saying that. This is about illegal immigration. You all keep saying American citizens.
Well,
it's about illegal
how do we know whether the people are illegal or not?
Well, when we
know after they're shot.
We have 1.6.
We know after they die.
We have 1.6 million people in this country who've already received deportation orders from courts. They are here illegally.
No, it's always back to illegal immigration with people who support Donald Trump. It's always back to illegal immigration. But that's not the only thing that we're talking about here. We're talking about the American people. We're talking about taking up arms against them with a military that's supposed to be protecting them.
This is not right. You cannot say Donald Trump is sending the military to round up.
That's what he said.
That is what he is saying, Scott.
That's not what I'm saying.
You said socialism is non-American, so what do you think is pro-American?
Well, let's define what socialism is, right? Socialism is the government confiscation of private property. It tends to be the rule of the few, not the many, even though they profess to say it's the rule of the many. But the American, let's just say, economic tradition is private property rights, markets with proper restraint, entrepreneurship, the ability to flourish, trade, create new products. Socialism disincentivizes almost all those things. Socialism is built largely on envy and greed. And hilariously, the people that push for socialism, the rank and file, they don't realize that socialism actually just creates an oligarchy. It doesn't actually create a strong middle class, what they allege, to want.
So do you believe in taxes?
Ideally 10% across the board. Yeah.
Okay, so you believe in the confiscation of people's private property?
At some point it depends on if it's private property income or if it's necessary to fund government services.
But that's still a confiscation with a gun through police if you don't.
I fully acknowledge a moderate form of something I hate in order to fund a government, police, firefighters, EMT is necessary.
But that's still government confiscating private property, which you said was socialism.
Yes, but have you ever called the cops?
No, I don't believe. I don't like cops. They don't like me.
Okay, you ever gone to a hospital?
No.
Okay, well, one day when you go to a hospital or you use the social service you paid for.
But I'm saying you define socialism as a confiscation of private property, and you're saying that you believe in taxes, which is a confiscation of private wages.
Let me go for the unreasonable confiscation of private property, the elimination of private property altogether. You see, this is very sloppy intellectual thinking. That just because we want a police force, a border patrol, and we want clean streets, all of a sudden we become a socialist.
But those are still socialism.
Not every form of government is socialism. Would you acknowledge that?
No, I don't.
Okay, then
when does socialism begin and when does it end? And I'm saying you're saying that some level of socialism.
It's not like an entrance into Narnia.
If you're saying socialism is anti-American, I'm saying socialism is a part of America.
Okay, so you want to know when socialism begins and when it ends?
Yeah.
When you leave the free state of Florida and you enter the unfree state of New York.
What's the tax rate in Florida then?
0.
No,
the income tax in Florida is 0.
But you still have to pay federal taxes. So if you have to pay taxes at all, it sounds like Florida's a socialist state.
So are you trying to say America's currently socialist?
Yes. That's
okay,
what I'm saying.
I would agree. We're going more in that direction. So.
Okay, but you just said that America is socialist, but you said Florida's not socialist. So Florida's part of America. That doesn't make sense.
Oh, but the federal project right now is more socialist than it is free market. Yeah. So to be even more clear, the closer you get towards the government owning a majority of your labor and your goods, the further and further closer you get to socialism. California is that. Yeah. Now, I would love for the federal government to get rid of FICA tax, to get rid of, the excess income tax. I've been clear. I think 10% across the board, fine. We need a military. You might not agree. We need a police force. We need a border patrol. We need basic social services that are a safety net, not a hammock. But I do not believe in this over-the-top type taxation. If you want to talk about other types of taxation that everyone here is paying, it's inflation.
Is it okay for a woman to kill her child because she doesn't want it?
Who is going to take care of that child otherwise?
Well, she could put the child up for adoption. So adopted parents could. I'd point out, even if there were no adopted parents, I think parents are morally obligated to provide a safe and healthy environment for their child to develop inside of. For example, a woman has a 1-week-old child. She can't starve the kid or leave the kid in the closet. That's neglect. She get charged with homicide. And I think that's right. Would you agree that woman who leaves her kid in the closet, doesn't feed the kid, that's homicide, that's murder? Okay. So I think
it's not homicide unless it kills the kid, dude.
Okay, so yeah, it kills the kid, right? She starves the kid to death, puts it in the closet. Okay, so that's homicide, right? Because parents have a moral obligation to provide a safe and healthy environment for the child to develop in. Same thing if she throws the kid
for a wanted child.
Oh, so children are only valuable if they're wanted, and it's okay.
Yeah, actually.
So if she doesn't want the kid and she puts the kid in the closet, the born kid, it's not murder.
No. She shouldn't have had that kid in the first place.
Wait, so you don't think that's murder? If she leaves a 1-week-old child?
Listen, please don't interrupt me.
Okay.
Thank you. That woman should not have had the child in the first place.
But she did now.
Okay. Then she should get rid of that child.
How so? I would say, put it up for adoption, not kill it. You think it's okay if she kills it?
I think that child has already been in existence for a very long time. I think that kid has already developed, and that kid is no longer inside the mother. That kid is no longer a clump of cells that is causing the woman immediate danger.
Clump of cells of human species, right? It's human.
So are tumors.
Yeah, but they're of the same DNA of the mother, right? If we take a look at
tumors.
Once again, I'm talking about the child. Child's different DNA than the mother. Child's not the mother. Child's its own unique human being. Can't kill innocent human beings.
You can get rid of a tumor that is going to cause you trauma.
Yeah, but child's not a tumor. Child's different DNA from the mother. It's not the mother. It's its own unique human being, not the mother.
Viruses don't share human DNA.
The child in the womb is not a virus.
I'd call it a disease.
How's it a disease? Right. It's by definition not a disease. It's offspring. Also not a parasite because it's offspring. Well, parasites can't be offspring or the same species as the host. Child's both.
Okay. If we're going off of the technical definition of...
Okay, go ahead.
Thank you. If we are going off of the common definition of a parasite, which is something that sucks the life out of or takes advantage of another creature, then yes,
that's not the common definition, though. We need to go by the biological definition because it's a biological term.
Okay. I'm going by the common definition of people who just...
But that's not the common definition. You can Google it right now. A parasite can't be of the same species of the host, and it can't be related to the host. It's not a parasite.
Okay.
What Jesus said about homosexuality, nothing. Have you never opened up the Bible in your life?
Absolutely. I read it all the time.
Okay, can you tell me what 1 Corinthians 6:9 says?
Jesus, that's Paul.
In the Bible.
Yes, and that is a disputed translation. most of the world, it is pederasty. It is not homosexuality. In the 1950s, you got a translation of homosexuality. But in essence, that's Paul. It is not Jesus.
So you think Paul's inaccurate? You think the Bible is inaccurate?
No, I think that he's not Jesus. I think I center as a Christian my beliefs on the teachings of Jesus. He said nothing about homosexuality or sex.
But the Bible does.
Where in the Bible?
It's inspired from God. These are inspired from God.
What do you think about Matthew 25:31 through 46?
Okay, quote it for me. Or just tell me like a summary of what it says.
Aren't you reading your Bible?
Tell me what it says. I'm not supposed to know all verses of the Bible.
I know Corinthians.
I don't know Corinthians. I know the verse in Corinthians.
Yeah, right.
The same way a Christian knows like John 3:16, for God so loved the world, or Genesis 1:1, or John 1:1.
Yeah.
We can give certain verses. That doesn't mean that I can cite to you the entire Bible. So if you want to talk about it, tell me what it says.
I certainly will. Because I think it's important for the MAGA group to really understand that...
You want this hat?
No, I do not want that hat.
It would look good on you.
Well, no, thank you. I will just say this. The problem with so-called Christian nationalism, which is really just worship of borders instead of worship of God. But Jesus said in Matthew 25:31-46, he calls the sheep and the goats together. I mean, he calls the nations and individuals together, not just individuals, but nations. And he separates them like he would separate goats and sheep. And he has two columns that you're in. You're either in, not columns, but categories. You're either in the blessed or the accursed category. You know what gets you in the accursed category?
What's that?
Not inviting in immigrants.
I have a master's degree because when I got certified, I was told I had to have a master's degree to be an Arizona certified teacher. Are we allowing the parents to choose the curriculum and the books that our children are going to read? The purpose of public education is not to teach only what parents want their children to be taught. It is to teach them what society needs them to be taught.
There's more than 100 years of Supreme Court precedent telling us that we have the distinct privilege and responsibility of directing the health, education, and upbringing of our children. You don't have that responsibility. Regardless of what you think about the importance of public education, the power ultimately lies in the hands of the parents who not only pay for what you do in the classroom, but whose children you instruct during a finite period of the day. If we're going to talk about responsibility and ownership, maybe you should take a look at our nation's math and English scores.